Well, hello, welcome to my first episode of my music theory podcast. This is going to be the first episode of 5, about 10 minutes long each. So throughout the episodes, as we progress, we are going to go from beginners, basic music theory, and then by the episode 5 we should be like around grade 5 theory. So, what's this about? It's about sheet music, and as most people know, sheet music, when you look at it, it's the daunting 5 lines with little dots, lines, all this random jumbo on it, bit of Latin on there for some reason. So, also not a lot of people use it these days. It's quite an outdated thing, because obviously we have stuff like tabs, YouTube, just watch people do it and then copy them. But sheet music is still probably one of the most important types of music reading. Not only is it the oldest, it's the most accurate. And what I mean by accurate is it tells you note values. So say if your first note is a crotchet, which is worth 1, or a minim, like worth 2 and stuff so forth. It also tells you stuff like your key signature. So when you go to improvise, you know what key you're doing your scales in and stuff like that. You get stuff like your time signature, your BPM, literally everything. And so the stuff with sheet music is more of the stuff that it can be used for is it's like it makes you more of a diverse player really, because like obviously when you go to more like different styles, so like you go into your more orchestral classicals, your jazz, they do tend to use sheet music more than they use tabs and also for other stuff. So sheet music is still, to these days, quite important. So let's start with the main lesson then. So let's start with up here. This is a treble clef. What it means by treble clef is basically just how each note is set out on the stave, the 5 lines. So we'll start with the bottom one. So here we've got, down there is E. This is G, E, D, F. And so we're going to get that E, G, E, D, F. Easiest way I find to remember treble is, for the lines anyway, is every good boy deserves football. So we've got every good boy deserves football. And in between the gaps is F, A, C, and E. Face. That is the way we remember it. Face between the space. It's quite a simple one. Remember that one. Another way you can remember this by is, if you notice the first note is E, right? And then when you go up to the space, it's F. And then when you go back to the second line, G. If you've clocked already, that is alphabetical order. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. It's quite an easy way to remember the treble. So we're going to move on to bass clef now. Bass clef is not that different. It's quite similar in a way. So we've got G, B, D, F, A. G, B, D, F, A. And the way you remember this one, similar acronym to this one, is good boys deserve food always. Yeah, so good boys deserve food always. That is the lines for the bass clef. So when we go in between the gaps now, we have A, C, E, G. So altogether, in alphabetical order again, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. If you don't get it that way, the acronym for in between the lines is all cows eat grass. So do it again. All cows eat grass. Good boys deserve food always, and all cows eat grass. That's the easy way to remember that. So next we're going to move on to note values. So note values is stuff like, obviously you've got your stuff like crotchet, which is worth 1 beat, so we'll literally count that as 1. And then we've got stuff like minim, so it'll be 1, 2, and so forth. So draw some on. So the first one we're going to do is a minim, which is, that is a minim. As you notice, it's like a crotchet, but it's missing the inner part. So how we count that is, it's worth 2 beats. How we count that is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how we count it in a 4/4 time signature. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll go down. We'll make our way downwards till we get to quavers, semiquavers. So then we've got crotchet. This is the one that probably most people be familiar with. So this is worth 1 beat. So in a 4/4 time signature, we'll count this as 1, 2, 3, 4. So go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a crotchet. Next, we'll go on to quaver, which I'm going to do here. So quaver, kind of like a crotchet drawn, except for you have the tail on the end, at the top. And that is worth half a beat. So how we would count this in a 4/4 time signature, all these are going to be 4/4 because it's the easiest one to remember. So how we count quavers in a 4/4 time signature is 1 and. So have you noticed now, instead of crotchets, I have only 1 beat, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we're doing it in half beats this time, we're adding ands in between numbers. So it'll be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get that? So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Lastly, the final note on this is going to be a semiquaver, which is very similar to quavers. It's just you add an extra little line underneath the tail. This is equal to a quarter, which is not fun to clap. So quarter beats. So you count, it's kind of like quavers where you got 1 and, but in between the and the end of and you add e and a. So 1 e and a. Get that? So it'll be 1 e and a. So if we did that in a 4/4 time signature, you'll be getting 1 e and a, 2 e and a, 3 e and a, 4. And again, so it's 1 e and a, 2 e and a, 3 e and a, 4. It's quite simple. They're the 4 main ones you will see. I'll say probably a few episodes, like about episode 3, we're going to go on to stuff like rests and stuff. So anyway, this is the end of the episode now. I hope you have enjoyed and hopefully come away with something during this. Next episode, episode 2, is going to be about modes, which is a bit higher up in music theory grades. So anyway, see you later.